Good day, grade 10 learners. Welcome to our mathematics lesson. I am Sikhulile Ncube. This lesson is proudly brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education. Right. Grade 10s, we are doing linear and quadratic equations. Do you know the difference between an expression and equation? Okay, we've been doing algebraic expressions. Do you remember that? We've been simplifying them. Okay, so today we're going to look at equations. We are solving equations. Okay, we simplify algebraic expressions, we solve equations. Okay, so we're going to look at the linear and quadratic equations. At the end of the lesson, grade 10s, you should be able to solve linear equations. It's revision. Remember, we did this grade 8, grade 9. So there's nothing new about this, okay? And then we're going to solve quadratic equations by factorization. Do you remember factorization? How do we factorize? Using the highest common factor, factorization of the trinomial, quadratic trinomial, the difference of two squares, difference in sum of two cubes. So we're going to apply those factorization methods to solve equations, okay? Especially quadratic equations, okay? Right, in grade 8 and 9, we did linear equations, and then we did factorization, okay? And then we're going to apply all those things in today's lesson, even fractions, okay? Right, usually we start with our baseline activity. I really hope that each and every one of you there, you have your books with you, your pens, your calculators, you have everything you need for the lesson, because you're not just watching me here. What you're doing, you are participating. Remember our WhatsApp line 064-748-8913. We want your questions. We want your input, because we are not just doing this. You have to benefit from these lessons. So send us your input, how we can improve the lessons. Right, for example, if I'm moving fast, you tell me, you tell us this side, then we're going to try and adjust our speed. Okay, send us your work so that you can see you're doing your work there, and then also anything that you want to communicate with us, let's do that. Let's be part of the lesson. That's the most important thing. Right, now I want you to factorize the following algebraic expressions. Why factorize? Because we're going to apply factorization today when you're solving the equations. So I want you to factorize. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, for A and B, spend about 2 minutes. Okay, and then C, another minute, but I'll also give you time to finish off C. Let's try for 3 minutes. Let's try. Welcome back, returns. Right, what did you say about factorization? The first thing we check, is there any highest common factor? You look at your two terms and check if there's a common factor there. So let's start with A. Do we have a common factor there? 2x and 8, do we have a highest common factor? Okay, if we have it, what is it? It is 2. Right, so what you do, you factor out 2. You factor out 2. So now we're going to say 2 outside the bracket. Okay, and then what do we do inside the bracket? We divide each term by that highest common factor, isn't it? So it's going to be 2x divided by 2. Like I said, you can skip this step, okay? Just I'm showing you so that you can understand where we're getting this. And then 8 divided by 2, you can do that, but you can skip this step. You can do it just, I would say 2x divided by 2 is x, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4. It's fine. And then you can have your answer like that. So this is going to be x plus 4. This is our answer. You see that? Okay, can you mark that? Okay. Now, this is the answer there. Right, the next one. Do we have the highest common factor there? Can you check? 3x squared. These are two terms. 3x squared and x. Do we have a highest common factor there? What is it? It is x. You see that? So you factor out x. Let me do it here. So it's x. And then what is 3x squared divided by x? Okay, you can do it on your head, but let me show you. 3x squared divided by x, and then minus x divided by x. Okay, so it's going to be 3, and then 3x minus 1. Remember that. X divided by x is 1, not 0. Okay, it's 1. So it's going to be 3x minus 1 inside the bracket. You must check inside the bracket. You mustn't have a highest common factor. It must be terms there without a factor, a common factor. Okay, right. It shows that you have fully factorized. Okay, right. And then C. How many people managed to do C? How do we factorize a quadratic trinomial? Okay, I want you to look for the factors. Let me just give you a clue here. Right, this negative, what does it tell us? It tells us that one factor is negative and the other factor is positive, isn't it? And then this one is negative, the coefficient of x is negative. It tells us that the bigger factor is negative. This one, it takes the sign of the bigger factor. So now, let's look for the factors of negative 10, or let's just say factors of 10, okay? And then I have 1 goes with 10, because 1 times 10 is 10. Now, can we have negative 10, positive 1? Check that and see if they can give you negative 3 if you add them. And then 2 goes with 5. Okay? Right. So there's this combination and this combination. Just try, pick the correct pair there, and then choose which one is going to be negative and which one is going to be positive. Okay? I want to give you 1 minute to try that. Try to factorize a C. I've given you a clue. Just for a minute. Let's try. Excellent. I know you've tried. I know you got it right now. Remember our WhatsApp line 064-748-8913. Send us your questions. Not questions only. You can even send us pictures of your work. Let's try that. Let's do that. And then, now, did you get it right? Now, if we say the bigger one is going to be negative, this is the combination that can give us negative 3. So if you make this one negative 5 and then positive 3, sorry, positive 2, that will give us negative 3 if we're adding them. Right, negative 5 times positive 2 is negative 10. So It's giving us that. And then negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So that's the combination you want. And remember that if the coefficient of x squared is 1 like that, it is very easy to write our factors. It's just going to be x. Okay, I've animated it. Let me just write x plus 2 and then x minus 5 like that. Okay, from this minus 5 and this positive 2. Okay, if you're using the other method, you can say the factors of the first term there, which is x squared, is going to be x and then x. Okay, you can do the try and error method, and then the factors of negative 10, negative 5, positive 2. And then if you cross multiply there, that is negative 5x. Then cross multiply there is positive 2x. You see that? And then if you add them, they give you negative 3x. So this is one, x plus 2, which is that, and then x minus 5, which is that. You see that? This is how you factorize a trinomial with the coefficient x of x squared being 1 there. It's very easy. Okay, so what are linear equations? What are linear equations, grade 10s? Okay, a linear equation is an equation in which the highest exponent of the variable is 1. Okay, an example, this is a linear equation. Do you see that? The variable here is x. What is the exponent of that x? It is 1. Okay, you see that? So this is an example of a linear equation. And if you draw a graph of a linear equation, what type of a graph do you get? Linear means straight line, isn't it? Right now, you will get a straight line graph if you draw the graph of a linear equation. Okay, right. And then we have quadratic equations. Now, these are second degree equations, second degree, that have a maximum of 2 solutions. Okay, like this equation here, it has a maximum of 2 solutions. You see that? Okay, if you try to solve this, let me just try to do it. X squared minus 1 is equal to 0. I'll talk about how we solve quadratic equations. Let me not spoil it now. And then, as you can see, difference of 2 squares here. X minus 1, x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then you're going to get 2 solutions here. I'll explain this part, don't worry. And then x equals to 1 or x is equals to negative 1. You see that we have got 2 solutions. Okay, a maximum of. It does not mean that all the equations will give you 2 solutions. Sometimes you try to solve the quadratic equation and you find that there is no solution. It's possible. You will link these two functions later. You will see that. Sometimes you have quadratic functions that do not what? That do not have the x-intercepts. So you try to solve for x, you can't get the solution. It's possible. Or you try to solve for x and you're getting one solution. Maybe x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 2. That is one solution. Okay, so that's why I'm saying a maximum of, meaning that 2 is the maximum. You can get 0 solutions, you can get 1 solution, you can get 2 solutions. Okay, right. Now, when solving linear equations, remember these grade 10s. Remember this. Please, let's communicate 064-748-8913. I want us to move together today. I don't want anyone who's going to say, I'm left behind. Okay, please communicate with us. Right. When solving linear equations, remember that. Place x or the unknown variable on one side of the equation. Okay, and then the constants on the other side of the equation. What is the constant? It's a number without a variable, like a 2, a 3, a negative 5. Those are constants. Okay, and then the numbers with variable can be 2x, 3x, 2a. Remember, it can be an unknown variable, it can be a. We usually use x, but it can be b, it can be c, it can be anything. Okay, right. It should be one side, the variables, and then constants on the other side. And then what you do on the right hand side, you have to do on the left hand side of the equation. Remember, an equation is what? A right hand side and a left hand side. Okay, so we have left hand side equals right hand side. If I say plus 2 this side, I must say plus 2 this side. If I divide by 4 on the left, I must divide by 4 on the right. What you do on the left, you must do on the right when you're solving the equations. Remember, you did what? the additive inverses in grade 9, the multiplicative inverses. Remember those things. Okay, we have to apply those things here. So now with this, I want you to try to do this activity. Right? Question A, I can give you 1 minute for that, and B, I can give you 2 minutes for that. So altogether, that is 3 minutes. Let's try. Welcome back, grade 10s. Are you managing? Remember WhatsApp line, grade 10 064 748 8913. I want to know if you understand. I want to know if you're having problems. Please send us your WhatsApp. Okay, even questions, communicate with us. Okay, right. Send us your questions. It's too quiet today. We need to interact. If you understand or if done your work, take a picture and send us your work. Okay, just the name of your school is enough. Okay, right. And then solve the equations. Let's start with A. What did you do there? Okay, right. So we're saying here is x minus 3. What is the opposite of minus 3? Okay, what is the additive inverse of negative 3? Is plus 3. Do you see that? So we have to add 3 to get rid of negative 3. So if we add 3 on the left hand side, we must add 3 on the right hand side. Okay, what you do on the left, you do on the right. Remember that. So we've added 3 this side, and then we've added 3 this side. Do you see that? Now the equation is still balanced. What we do this side, we do this side, so the equation is still fine. Right. Now what is negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So we remain with x, and then x is equals to 11. This method that we use a lot in mathematics is called transposing. Sometimes it is very, very good because sometimes we're dealing with a lot of things. that you have to add this side, sometimes is a problem. Right, let me explain that. So maybe some of you have used it in the classroom. So x minus 3 is equals to 8. You transpose, bring the negative 3 this side. If the number jumps the equal sign, okay, jumping the equal sign, there's no operation like jumping in mathematics, but we do use it, transposing, so it becomes x is equals to 8 plus 3. Please be careful, right? It only changes the sign if it goes to the other side of the equal sign. If you are changing numbers on the same side of the equal sign, the signs do not change. Okay, right? The other problem that we have, you find people solving for 2 times x like this is equal to 8, and then people start transposing and then say this 2 must go this side. No, don't do that. There is nothing like that. So when it's multiplication and division, we do not transpose. You do the inverse operation. What is the inverse operation of multiplication? Divide. If it's division, multiply. Okay, so this transposing can work if you are what? Adding, if there's addition or subtraction like this. Okay, please don't make those mistakes. Right, and then B. Did you manage to do B? What did you do? Distribute. Let's remove the brackets. Right, distribute 2 times x, 2 times 2. That is 2x plus 4 is equals to 3 times 2x, 3 times 1. And then what do we get? We get something like this. Do you see that? Okay, 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 2x, 6x, 3 times 1, 3, and then minus 7. Now, I want you to try to finish off this equation. Try to solve for x from here. Collect the like terms. Remember, the variables must be on one side, preferable on the left-hand side, but it's not a must. Just put them on the left-hand side and then the constants on the right-hand side, okay? You can even transpose if you want to do that. And then we try to solve. Let me give you 1 minute to finish off this one. Let's try. Right, welcome back, returns. Right, let's see. What did you do? I'll use the transposing method. So I'll bring 6x to the left-hand side. So it becomes what? Negative 6x. And then I'll bring positive 4 to the right-hand side. It becomes negative 4. Do you see that? And then now all the variables now. Okay, the terms with variables are on the left-hand side and constants will be on the right-hand side like this. Do you see that? And then we can simplify this. What is 2x minus 6x? These are like terms. We can subtract them. It's negative 4x. What is 3 minus 7? That is minus 4. Minus 4 or negative 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Do you see that? So you get your answer like this. And then what do we do from here? Are we going to transpose negative 4? We can't do that because the operation between negative 4 and x is multiplication. Negative 4 times x. And then what do we do now? We have to divide both sides by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. What you're doing on the left, you do on the right. And then what do you get? X is equals to 2. Right, did you get the correct answers? Let's really hope that you managed to do that. And then now, we're not getting any WhatsApp questions. Okay, I really hope you're understanding everything here. Okay, now we're moving now from linear equations to quadratic equations. Okay, right. That was that for linear equations. Let's move to quadratic equations. Right, step to solve quadratic equations. Very easy. Don't stress. If you know how to factorize a quadratic trinomial, then you're fine. Okay, right. So what you do, right hand side or left hand side must be equal to 0. Please listen to this one. It's very, very important. You cannot, let me say it in capital letters, emphasizing, you cannot solve a quadratic equation if you don't have 0 on one side of the equation. 0 must be alone on one side of the equation. Can be on the left hand side, can be on the right hand side, but they must be equal to 0. Please don't forget that. I've seen learners struggling trying to solve the equation when the one side is not equal to 0, and then they're getting wrong things. That's the first step. Actually, sometimes you're getting a mark for that. I'll show you, okay, how you get that mark. Your equation must be in standard form. We call this standard form. You're getting a mark for this. Rearranging, if you're getting an equation which is not arranged in this form, and then rearranging it and writing it like this, you're getting a mark. Okay, you may get, I'll explain when I get to the examples. Okay, I'll explain when I get to the example. So you see, 0 is on its own, on the left, on the right hand side. You can be like this also. 0 is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. 0 must be on its own. The algebraic skeleton on one side. Don't forget that. Okay, right. Now, first check if there's no common factor, the highest common factor. Then take out the common factor if it is there. Don't forget that. And then after that, factorize the quadratic equation fully. And then you solve for x. Okay? Right. Apply the zero product principle. I want to explain this. It's very, very important when you're solving quadratic trinomials or quadratic equations. Okay? Right. The zero product principle states that if I'm saying a times b is equal to 0, then what does that mean? I'm multiplying two things here. A times b equals to 0. This. It means it's either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0, or both of them are equal to 0. If you're multiplying two things and you're getting 0, it means that other thing you're multiplying, let's call it a and b so that to simplify things. It means a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0, or both of them are equal to 0. It's a very, very important concept when it comes to what? To quadratic equations. A product of factors is 0 if and only if one or more of the factors is 0. Take note of that. And then this is useful when solving quadratic equations. Very, very important. Okay? Right. To verify the solutions, you can check them. Check your solutions at the end. It's advisable to do that. X values are called solutions or roots of an equation. Very soon you're going to be talking about nature of roots and all those things. Okay, roots of the equation, you're talking about the x values. Okay, right. I want us to go to the examples now. Okay, right. Example 1. Solve for x. This question is 2 marks. So if it's 2 marks, you don't have to do a lot of things. I'm giving you a clue here. Right. So it means here you don't have to do a lot of things. It is very, very important to check the mark allocation. It guides you. It guides you. So now you can't do half a page expanding and doing all those things for 2 marks. Let's try this, and then after that I'll give you a clue, and then you continue. Let's try for 1 minute. Well done, Cretans. Did you manage to do your work? I hope so. Right. The good thing about this equation, it has been factored for us. We have our factors. It is this bracket times this bracket. We multiplying these two brackets, we're getting a 0. So what does that mean? It means that it's either x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 1 is equal to 0. That's what it means. Remember, I said if a, b is equal to 0, therefore a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0 or both of them are equal to 0. So now it's either already factored for us, then that's a point, and then it's either x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 1 is equal to 0. Do you see that? Okay, and then how do we solve for x now? We can transpose or subtract 3 on both sides. Let's bring the 3 this side. What does it become? X is equals to negative 3. Let's bring negative 1 this side. What does it become? X is equals to 1. How many solutions do we have, Cretans? We have 2 solutions. What did we say? We said that for a quadratic equation, you have a maximum of 2 solutions. These are the 2 solutions. X is equal to negative 3 or x is equal to 1. If x is negative 3, then this thing is going to be equal to 0. We can even check that. Let's say negative 3 where there's x plus 3, and then negative 3 minus 1. What is it equals to? This is 0. So 0 times this bracket. 0 times anything is equal to 0. Any number is equal to 0. You see that? You see that? Even if x is 1. If x is 1 here, this whole bracket becomes a 0. 0 times this bracket gives us a 0. You see that? You can check your solution at the end. Right. These are examples, but I want you to try them. Solve for x when x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. I want you to get something like this first. Let me give you a clue. Okay? How do we get these 2 brackets? When you factorize a trinomial, quadratic trinomial, what do you get? 2 brackets. Now, let's get the 2 brackets here by factorization. Let's try that. I'm going to give you just 1 minute. Remember, as an example, I'm going to be guiding you. Okay, let's try. Right. Today, are quiet Cretans. Do you understand? Okay, please send us your WhatsApp. Questions 064 748 8913. Send us your work and then let's communicate. Right, now what did you do, Cretans, then? Did you factorize like this? Okay, right, you're supposed to get your answer like that. Okay, let me try to explain this. Right, x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, let's factorize this side. So we're looking for the factors of negative 2 that will give us negative 1 if we add them. Right now, we can look for those factors. 2. Okay, before we do that, what does this negative tell us? This negative, this one. This one. It tells us the other factor is negative and the other factor is positive. And then this one tells us that the bigger factor is negative. What are the factors of 2? This one is easy. It's just 1 and 2. And then means now this 2 must be the negative 1 because the bigger one must be negative. And then what is negative 2 times 1? It is negative 2. What is negative 2 plus 1? It is negative 1. So now when the coefficient of x squared is 1 like that, you can just write here is x plus 1, x minus 2 like that is equal to 0. You see that? And then now you can even use this method, the factors of x squared, the factors of negative 2. Try and error, do that, and then I can look for the factors of negative 2. It can be negative 2 and positive 1. Then what do I do? Cross multiply. This is negative 2x, cross multiply. This is positive x. And then what is negative 2 plus x is negative x. So it's giving us the middle term here. So it means this is the combination of factors we want. X minus 2 and x plus 1. Right. And then it means x minus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0, like we have here. You see that? And then you transpose. Then we're getting our solutions there. Okay? Right. Let's move on. It's another example. Remember what I said. The steps for solving a quadratic equation. I want you to try. Still an example. Okay, we're going to go to the activity. But I want to give you a minute so that you can be ahead of me. Okay? I want you to be ahead of me. Not doing things after I've done them. No. You must do them first. Then I can give you, I can guide you after that. Let's try. For 1 minute. Welcome back, returns. Today we're not getting questions. We're not getting any information from you. I think I have to start moving fast so that you can start complaining, isn't it? Okay. I'll move fast now, then you start complaining so that you can communicate with me. Okay. I'm just joking. Let's try. Right. If you understand, we're quite happy about that. But if you don't, please send us your questions, send us your work so that we can assist each other. Okay. Right. Now, 2x squared plus x is equals to 3. What do we do there? What do we do? Returns. What did I say? Standard form. Do you remember that? And then I said 0 must be on its own. We have a 3 here. We don't like this 3 to be on the other side. It must join the other numbers. We want 0 on one side. 0 must be one side. So this 3 must come this side. Standard form. Write the equation in standard form. And you're getting a mark for that if you didn't know. Free mark. Okay? Now, we can now solve the equation now. Okay, let's factorize. Right, 2x squared plus x minus 3. Right, okay, I'll try to use the two methods that we usually use. Okay, right, now we have, okay, I just went straight to the factors. This is very unfair. Let me try to explain this. Right, 2x squared plus x minus 3 is equal to 0. Right, the method that I'll use both methods. So it's 2x squared times negative 3. Some people just use the numbers without putting the variable. It's still fine. But now you can say 2x squared times negative 3, which is negative 6x squared. And then we look for the factors of negative 6x squared. That will give us what? A positive 1. X. Okay? So the factors can be, 6 can be 1x and 6x. Right. Remember I said some people can just use 1 and 6. Without putting the x. Okay? So this combination cannot give us what? A 1. You see that? Because here, this shows us that one factor must be negative, the other factor must be positive. Then this one, the bigger factor must be positive. Right. What about 2? 2 goes with 3. This can give us a 1 somehow, because 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, so now we say the bigger factor must be positive, so it means 3 must be positive, and then 2 must be negative. And then negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Do you see that we're getting this? Please be careful when the coefficient of x squared is not 1. Okay, we can't do the shorter method, we have to do the longer method. And then now we are going to replace the middle term, this one, with these two terms. Okay, so it's 2x squared minus 2x. The order does not matter. You can start by positive 3x is fine, plus 3x minus 3. And then now we factorize by grouping in pairs. Remember factorization by grouping in pairs? Look at this pair, then you look at this pair. Okay, right, let's factorize there. What's common? 2x, then x minus 2, x minus 1, sorry. And then we factor out what? What do you think we must factor out? Positive 3, then get x minus 1. Do you see that? How many terms do we have here? 2 terms. This term and this term. And they have a common bracket. We factor it out, x minus 1. Remember what we said in the previous lesson? Then these two, they form the other bracket, which is 2x plus 3. Here we're just factorizing. Okay? Then you see we have this. We have factorized that. Okay? Right. The other method you can use, you can say the factors of 2x squared can be 2x and x. And then the factors that can give us for negative 3, it can be positive 3 and negative 1. Okay, remember you can try different combinations. Here I'm just trying the combination that will give us the answer straight away. Then cross multiply, this is 3x. Cross multiply, this is what? Negative 2x. But what is positive 3x minus 2x is positive x. You see, you're getting the middle term. Then this is the combination, 2x plus 3, then x minus 1. Okay, so these are the methods we can use. Now, can you write the final answer? I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to remain here for 30 seconds. We have factorized now. Now, can you write the final answer now? Let's try that. 30 seconds. Right, welcome back. I really hope you managed to do the final part. Now it means 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 1 is equal to 0. Do you see that they are multiplying these two brackets and we're getting a 0? So it means either the first bracket is equal to 0 or the second bracket is equal to 0. So then we have something like this, and then we solve. We transpose this, okay? So it becomes negative 3, and then we transpose this, it becomes positive 1. Let me explain this part here. Okay, we transpose 2x is equals to negative 3, and then what do we do after that? We divide by 2 both sides. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and then x is equals to negative 3 over 2. Do you see that? Okay, right. We have done the examples now. Are you ready for the activity? I hope you are ready now. Okay, right, let's try this activity. Right, okay, I'm going to give you, let's do the first two, A and B, for 4 minutes. Okay, and then we'll see if we have time, we're going to do C and D. Okay, let's try A and B for 4 minutes. Okay, and then after that we'll see if we can do C and D. But now what I want you to do before you start doing them, can you copy these 4 questions? Just copy them, all of them, the 4 of them. But after copying them, you just do A and B, and then after that we'll do C and D. Let's try 4 minutes. Welcome back, grade 10s. Thanks very much for the questions. The KTLA Secondary School. We're saying, should we use the additive, multiplicative inverses, or should we use transposing? I'll say, choose the method that works for you. Okay. Remember, in grade 8 and 9, we emphasized the additive inverses, the multiplicative inverses, because we wanted you to understand the basics. We don't want to see these mistakes, like I said before. We don't want to see this, whereby people now will say 2 will jump the equal sign and what? And becomes -2. No, we don't want to see that. You must know that here you are what? The operation here is times. You are doing the inverse of times. You are what? Dividing on both sides of the equation, something like that. But sometimes transposing works very, very nice, because if you are dealing with a lot of things, a lot of terms, you can easily transpose and it's faster. Okay, but master your method and make sure that you don't make mistakes. Okay, all right, you won't be penalized for using any of the methods. Okay, all right, thank you very much for your input. Right, now let's go to A. What did you do, grade 10s? Did you put the 0 on one side? Well done, good. I know you did that. So 0 must go to the one side. You cannot solve an equation when it's like this. 0 must go and be alone. Okay? Everything else must go on the other side. And then, do we have the highest common factor? Ask yourself that question. Yes, we have. So it becomes what? We factor it out. It becomes like this. Then what do we do after that? How do we get rid of these 2? We divide by it on both sides. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Remember, 0 divided by a number is 0. But a number divided by 0, that's what is undefined. Okay? 0 divided by 2 is 0. Okay? So now 2 into 2 is 1. Then we remain with x squared minus 1 is equals to 0. That's why when you're factorizing, and we are solving the equation, this number disappears. But if you're just simplifying an expression, it must not disappear. It disappears because we have divided by it on both sides. Okay? I see something interesting, grade 10s here. What do you see? If you look at this, how can you solve this? What do you see? Difference of 2 squares. Yes, difference of 2 squares. Do you see difference of 2 squares? Remember, x squared minus 1 is just the same as x squared minus 1 squared. Remember, 1 is a square number. Okay, I want you to continue from here if you didn't get it right. Now, factorize this using the difference of 2 squares, and then you write your final answer. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll wait for you. 30 seconds. Let's try. Well done, grade 10s. Did you manage? Right, how do we factorize this? What do we get? We get x minus 1, x plus 1 is equals to 0. Do you see now? We're applying difference of 2 squares. Okay? Right, x minus 1, x plus 1 is equal to 0. And then it means x minus 1 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. And then we transpose here, or using additive inverses is still okay. Right, okay? And then you get what? X is equals to 1, or x is equals to -1. Did you get that right? Okay. Right, B. What did you do, grade 10s? Did you do the right thing? What's the first step? No one should lose a mark on this one. What did I say? Standard form. If you did not do that, can you correct it fast? Correct it fast before I show you. I said standard form. Standard form. Write it in standard form. What is it? It's going to be x squared plus x is equals to 0. Put a tick there. Very, very important. Very, very important. Right. You have to use that. And then let's try to factorize this. Did you factorize it correctly? Let's look for the factors of negative 20. Let's just concentrate on the 20. 1 goes with 10. No. This one cannot give us what? Cannot give us a 1. Okay? The gap is too big there. 9. Okay. And then 2 goes with... what did I say? 1 goes with 20. Okay? 2 goes with 10. No, the difference is big there. 8. No. 3 does not go into 20. Then 4 goes with 5. Yes, this one can give us a 1. Right, we said here one factor must be negative, the other factor must be positive, and then here the bigger factor must be positive. So it means 5 must be positive and then 4 must be negative. Do you see that? So what are the factors? X minus 4, x plus 5 is equals to 0. Do you see that? Okay, I'm not going to go to the other method because of time. Right, what are the answers here? X plus 5 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to minus 5, or x is equal to 4. Did you mark that? Did you get it correct? Factors is very, very important. You're getting a mark for the standard form, for the factors, and for your answers. See, 4 marks for free. 4 marks for free. Okay? These are called factors. You're factorized. Standard form. Getting a mark for standard form, for the factors, for your answers, for your roots. Done. Don't lose marks on these ones. Practice it. Practice and practice and practice. Okay? Right. The last C and D. I want you to sit and listen. They are going to be your homework. Okay? Don't write anything. I want you to listen. Okay? And then it will become part of your homework. Okay, it joins your homework. But homework, I'm not going to explain it. So I'm explaining C and D, and then you do it later. Okay, now just listen. Don't do anything. Right, x plus 4 squared is equal to 4. What must I do? Standard form. Standard form. Do you see that? Standard form. I'm going to show you 2 methods here. Okay, so if I check this is a square. This is a square. So actually here we have the difference of 2 squares. You see that? So what is it going to be? X plus 4 minus 2 and x plus 4 plus 2. You treat this thing as the whole thing. This whole bracket is x squared. Ne? So it becomes like this. X plus 4 minus 2, x plus 4 plus 2, because of the difference of 2 squares. Then we can simplify this because these are like terms. These ones are like terms. These ones are like terms. So it becomes x plus 2 or times x plus 6 is equal to 0. And then from here, it is very, very easy. Do you see? The key there was to see the difference of 2 squares. Then after that, everything flows. Okay? Right. And then, therefore, x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to negative 6. Remember, I said don't write anything. This is going to be your homework. Okay? Right. And then the other method, which is a bit longer, but there's nothing wrong in doing mathematics correctly, as long as it's correct. Right, now, what did I do here? I expanded, but I expanded it very fast. What did I use to get this? I expanded this, x plus 4 squared, and I expanded very fast. Remember, the square binomials. The square binomials say that if it's x plus y squared, what do? You square this, x squared, maintain the sign, plus, multiply this and 2. So it's 2 times x times y. So it's going to be 2xy, and then always positive, and then square this one, y squared. Please, if you forget this, you can even do the long method of saying x plus 4. You can try that, x plus 4. You can expand x times that. You can do this method, it's still okay. Okay, right. And then here, what I did, I squared this, which is x squared, maintain the sign, which is this. I said 2 times 4 times x is 8x, and then I square this, which is 16 here. Do you see that? So even if you use this method, you must get this thing. So all these methods are giving you one thing, and then the minus 4 there. And then what do I do after that? The standard form. Do you see that? Standard form. And then you factorize here. Okay, I said listen, don't write anything. And then you factorize here. I did the long method, do the short method, and then you get your factors, which are this part here, and then you get your answers like that. Okay, right. I want you to copy okay, this one you multiply everything by the LCD, multiply by 3x, everything by 3x. You see that I multiplied here, I multiplied there, including this side, don't forget. But 0 times any number is 0. Okay, and then you'll get something like this. And then difference of two squares, okay, you're just listening. Okay, difference of two squares, and then you'll get your answers like that. Okay, right. For 30 seconds, I want you to copy the homework. For 30 seconds, copy the homework, and then we finalize. Okay, welcome back. I really hope you managed to copy the 3 questions. But if you did not manage, maybe there's your colleague who's faster there, you can take the questions from them. Okay, let's try that. Let's summarize our lesson. Grade 10s. You only check a solution if you are told to do so. However, it is advisable to check all solutions if possible. Let's check our answers so to make sure that we don't lose marks unnecessarily. When solving an equation, find all possible solutions. When solving quadratic equations, always start by checking the highest factor and write your equation in standard form, 0 principle. 0 must be on its own. Right, remember that grade 10s, thank you very much for being part of this lesson. And we are going to meet again next week as we continue with our lessons. Remember, grade 10s, respect is very, very important. Okay, respect each other, take care of each other. Remember to sanitize, to social distance, and to always wear your mask. Let's meet next week for our lesson. Thank you very much. Goodbye.